When the lights went out during our recent storm, we weren't caught completely off guard. We've always worked to stay one step ahead, and we've been building toward better readiness for years. But even with all that, those first few hours were a wake-up call. Today's video isn't about fantasy-level prepping or living fully off the grid. It's about the real, doable ways you can keep the lights on in your home even when the grid gives out. It's a funny thing how quiet a house gets when the power cuts out. Not just quiet, but still. The hum of the refrigerator, the low buzz of a light fixture, the distant background noises of a plugged-in light, all gone. In those first few minutes, you feel it more than you hear it. It's like the world took a deep breath and forgot to exhale. We talk about power like it's a luxury, but the truth is, it's more than that. It's being able to heat a bottle for the baby. It's making sure your food doesn't spoil. It's having a charged phone to call for help, or simply having a light in the hallway to calm your kids. In the real emergency, light isn't just about seeing. It's about reassuring. It's about keeping your rhythm when the world around you skips a beat. That's why backup power matters. Not because we're afraid of the dark, but because we want to keep the darkness from creeping into everything else. When most folks hear the word solar, they picture roof panels and expensive systems that require a whole contractor crew and a loan with too many zeros. But in emergency situations, solar can be much simpler and far more accessible. We've used small portable solar panels during power outages, and they've become one of my favorite low-effort backups. They're compact, lightweight, and don't require a permanent install. Even a modest fold-out panel system paired with a solar battery or power station can charge phones, tablets, radios, lights, and even small appliances if the wattages is right. We set ours up at the back porch the morning after the storm calmed down, and by midday, we had just enough juice for a full phone recharge and battery-powered fan for the bedroom. It wasn't glamorous, but it worked, and that's the whole point. Solar-powered lanterns are another win. We've started keeping a few around the house, charging them in windows year-round so they're ready when needed. They're reliable, rechargeable, and don't require fuel or fussy wiring. And at night, they provide enough glow to keep the room livable, not candlelit eerie. Batteries are one of those things that sound boring until you need them, and then they're gold. Power banks, battery generators, and even basic rechargeable AA or AAA batteries can keep the essentials during a blackout. We had 2 medium-sized battery banks charged and stored before the storm hit, and they gave us enough energy and juice to keep through the worst 24 hours of no-grid living. What's important is to think in layers. A small battery pack for your phone, a larger power bank for charging multiple devices, a dedicated power station for bigger needs like running medical equipment or a portable fridge. You don't have to buy them all at once, and you certainly don't need the biggest, flashiest model on the market. What matters is charging them regularly, storing them properly, and maintaining them, using them wisely when it counts. One note: check expiration dates and recharge cycles. A backup battery won't do you much good if it's been sitting in a drawer for 3 years and dies 5 minutes after you plug it in. We learned that one the hard way. Sometimes you've got to crank, or pump, or just go full-on pioneer mode. Manual backup tools don't require sunlight or battery levels. They just work. We had a hand crank radio that became our weather lifeline. I'll admit, turning that little handle for 5 minutes to get 20 minutes of audio was a workout, but it beat sitting in silence wondering what was going on. There's something deeply satisfying about using a tool that isn't dependent on the grid. Whether it's a crank flashlight, or a manual hand-pump water filter, or a gravity-fed camp shower, these low-tech solutions bring peace of mind. You can't hack or short-circuit a crank. It just does its job. And sometimes these tools are more than just gadgets. They represent a kind of resilience, a reminder that even without silicone chips or smart tech, you've got options. Who cares how many decades old the technology is? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you need to power everything. You don't. You need to power the essentials. In our case, we made a quick mental list. The lights in the main room? Yes. Phone chargers? Definitely. Wi-Fi router? Not necessarily. Our internet was already down. The fridge and garage freezer? Yes. Only with the gas generator on a rotational basis as we manage the fuel on hand. That kind of prioritization makes all the difference. If your power backup plan is built around your true needs, not just your wants, you could stretch your resources much farther. Even one functioning outlet can feel like a lifeline when it's attached to the right thing. And it's not just about electronics. What do you actually need to stay functional, warm, fed, and connected? Focus your backup energy on those things, and you'll find you need far less power than you might think. From our own recent experience, a few things stood out. Our solar setup worked beautifully for light and device charging, but wasn't enough to keep the fridge cold. We utilized the gas generator on rotation, switching between the fridge and the garage freezer every 6 to 8 hours. Plenty of gas fuel was on hand, so no issues there at all. Our battery packs were solid, but one of them had been stored too long and only held half a charge. The hand crank radio was a win, but we had to dig it out in the back of a storage bin. Those lessons stuck. We've since labeled, tested, and organized everything in a single cabinet so we're not scrambling next time. Because the truth is, most systems don't fail because they're bad. They fail because we weren't ready to use them when it mattered most. Not all power solutions are created equal, and they shouldn't be. The best approach is a layered approach. A flashlight by every bed, a power bank for every phone, a solar lantern for every common area, then a generator or a battery station for when you need more. You don't need to do it all at once, and you don't need to spend thousands. You just need to build up over time and think in terms of levels. Start small, grow smart, and always test what you store. So let's be honest, some backup power systems cost as much as a used car, but many don't. You can find second-hand power banks, build your own battery box, or even use budget-friendly solar garden lights to create nighttime pathways indoors. One of our favorite finds was a thrifted crank flashlight radio combo that we'd recently bought at an estate sale for less than $10, and it worked like a champ. Preparedness shouldn't feel like an exclusive club. There's a version of power security for every wallet. What matters most is the mindset of intentional readiness, not for the brand name of your generator. When the grid went down, our house fell into silence, and it was that first little glow from a solar lantern that reminded us we weren't helpless. It was more than light. It was proof that we had options, that we had prepared, that we could adapt. In times of uncertainty, even the smallest flicker of control can keep fear at bay. So whether it's a solar lamp, a battery pack, or a hand crank power radio, choose light. Choose preparation. Choose peace of mind over panic. Take action now and start preparing for the next power outage that rolls through your neighborhood. What items will you start with and eventually build up to? Let us know in the comments section below. They may be featured in one of our next videos. To ensure you don't miss out on your contribution to this community, don't forget to subscribe. Remember, stay safe, stay prepared, and always stay ready.